LATD Nation, welcome back to the channel. Of course, it's your boy Jay.
And this is Rodney, RG from the 843.
Yes, sir. And we back with another little bit of a terrifying Tuesday. Y'all know.
Yes, sir.
All month, all week long. You know what I'm saying? We got a new review coming Wednesdays and Fridays. So today we're going to be looking at the details of 1982, The Thing.
John Carpenter's The Thing, to be precise.
Exactly. John Carpenter, The Thing, one of the most prolific, one of the most astounding works of visuals, especially for that time with the monster.
Very much so. The titular thing, of course.
Yeah, of course. And now we ain't talking about Marvel. But one thing I can say about this movie is that I expected The Thing to be the star of the show.
Well, I mean, before we even really get into
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, obviously, folks that haven't seen this movie, 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing, classic movie, kind of a landmark sort of watershed moment in horror, especially for that time in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Whereas most 80s movies were obsessed with sort of telling this story about this slasher going around stalking and, unaliving these teen victims, these teen high schoolers or whatever the case. This movie tells the story of a group of explorers on an expedition in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Antarctica, kind of in the middle of this sort of mission where they come across this terrifying life form, unbeknownst to them that they kind of awoken, that has been presumably asleep for thousands of years, I think is what is said in the movie.
Why is it always thousands of years?
It always has to be for some reason.
Anyway, keep going.
But yeah, no, so, I mean, that's the basic plot synopsis. Don't want to give too much away, but I feel like The Thing, it's one of them movies it's a classic to the point of where you don't really think too much about it. It's one of those movies that's sort of, funny enough, when it first came out, it was actually pretty critically panned at first. Okay. A lot of people didn't really like the movie. They didn't really care much for The Thing. They didn't care much for the characters. And they thought it was too pessimistic. But over time, it grew in esteem to become one of the most acclaimed horror movies of not only the 80s, but of all time, as well as one of the most acclaimed sci-fi movies. And for good reason.
Right, yeah.
Among many, a star-making performance in Kurt Russell. Well, I wouldn't say a star-making, definitely a legacy-defining.
Yeah, I
definitely
agree.
One of the highlights of his career for sure. Because, as most people know, he plays MacReady, one of the main people, and they're kind of sort of the stoic loner, sort of leader type individual who kind of becomes the de facto commander once everything kind of goes haywire.
Yeah, pretty much what Sylvester Stallone becomes in all of the Rocky movies.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Russell definitely was a standout for me in this movie. I like one thing when I first heard about it, all I heard about was the visuals really, and that it's really more, like I mentioned before, more advanced for its time.
Yeah.
So I expected this to be just another slasher film, but with a regular monster,
a creature feature, if you will.
Thank you, a creature feature. But after we started watching it, I was thoroughly surprised that it had a lot more depth. I mean, that's because I've never seen the movie, but it surprised me that it had a lot more depth to the story rather than just being another creature feature type of monster movie, you know? Sure. And yeah, Kurt Russell, Keith David is in this movie too, by the way. He plays Childs.
Young Keith David.
And I didn't recognize him at first until he started speaking.
Yeah, I immediately knew it was Keith David the first time I saw him just because of the voice.
Yeah, because of the voice, exactly. And those two really are the main and TK Carter, who plays Knowles. They're the three main characters. Well, not main characters. All of them are main characters. They have Wilford Brimley, who plays Dr. Blair.
It's really an ensemble cast, honestly.
Yeah, but those are the three that carry the movie for me.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
And I like how it's very much like an awkward film. That's not awkward. It's more like a whodunit type of film too. Sure. It has different layers of genres that it draws from.
It definitely is more than what a lot of people probably assume it is, because one thing about a lot of these movies that we grew up with that kind of had this reputation, this sort of aesthetic, this sort of mythos around it, is that kind of kind of became what it was known for as time went on.
Right.
But when you really sit down and you watch these movies and you really experience them as they were, a lot of the time they be a lot different from what you think. Like a lot of these movies are and I agree, because the first time I watched The Thing, I kind of expected it to be more of like a monster movie, creature feature, but like you said, there's a lot more depth, there's a lot more substance, there's a lot more of a thematic sort of element going on in this movie. I would definitely say the practical effects, of course, the obvious highlight of this movie that most people tend to think of, the actual way the monster looks, the different forms and the different various shapes it takes as it assimilates any of its hosts, any of the people that it's trying to imitate. It holds up to this day.
It 100%. 100%. Like the monster was the most impressive part about this movie from the but it was the most impressive part about this movie for me. It's the reason why we decided to watch it, or at least why I decided to watch it, because like I was really thoroughly impressed with this. There was a little bit of CGI in it, but barely. Like 1% of this movie is CGI.
This movie is one of the main examples of why people champion practical effects in filmmaking, because for this movie to be over 40 years old and for it to still hold up as well as it does, I actually think the practical effects and the fact that it's kind of sort of limited technology works to its advantage, because it almost feels creepier. It feels almost sort of like more sort of unsettling.
Right, and the thing about this monster is powerful. Not in the sense that it is, not in the sense of like output, but in the sense that it's deceptive.
Oh yeah, cunning.
It's cunning. It's determined to get out there. Like even from the small drop of blood, it can manifest. It can simulate and manifest in another person. It's very much like Baby from Dragon Ball GT, but doesn't talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. Doesn't talk shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And I think that's actually one of the things that makes The Thing such a terrifying idea, because it's like you don't know what it doesn't even have an official name. You don't know what it was. You don't know where it came from. You don't know how long it's been. You just know. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go ahead.
You just know that it has one desire: to get out and to assimilate and to destroy its enemies and survive.
And the thing is, I didn't expect...
Sort of similar to a xenomorph. And I think that's the thing that made the xenomorph scary, is that you didn't have any context. It just was this thing that they just stumbled upon kind of by accident. Like they weren't even supposed to encounter this thing. Which is similar with this, because most people wouldn't be out where they're at to encounter this thing in the first place.
Right. And the thing is about The Thing... I keep saying the thing is.
I mean that's what it is.
About this thing though, it's just like what was I gonna say? I forgot. Like it could literally be anybody.
That's what makes it scary.
That's what exactly. And now I remember, it was I was thinking that they killed the spoilers. No spoilers.
The movie 40 years old.
Spoilers. All right, cool. When they killed the dog in the movie, I'm thinking that that's the end of it. Okay, boom. They burned it down. All right. Yep. Run. Get out of there. Don't stay. You know what I'm saying? But nah, that thing stayed on their ass, literally. Literally. Like on the whole time. And it's just like, that was the biggest thing that showed me how powerful this alien creature really is. Yeah. Because... like I said, I thought the movie was going to end at various points, but no, it still kept me engaged. It kept me wanting to see what happens at the end and everything. And truth be told, we don't even know if the thing even dies really in the end.
And that's one thing I really, really like about this movie, is that it really makes use of limited appearances. It really knows how to restrain itself in terms of like the actual appearances of it. It almost gives you a false sense of security because it's been gone for so long. Mm-hmm. It kind of, what the genius is that they kind of let the thing kind of sit back and sort of like let the character work kind of do its own thing. Exactly. Because as the movie is going on, friendships that were previously established, that you kind of get a sense of, these guys have been around each other for a while. They have no choice but to be friends and kind of trust each other. They're around each other every day, all day for months on end, presumably. So the trust that they start out with slowly starts to deteriorate and it's really is a commentary on how one little foreign element can really destroy even the most solid of relationships. Because, like I said, you really don't see the Thing for large parts of this movie, to the point to where you almost forget about it. It becomes almost sort of like a character drama, like a character like showcase.
Yeah, and that's another highlight about this film. If it's just that this movie really isn't even about the Thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like Beetlejuice in that regard. The movie isn't like with Beetlejuice. It's not even about Beetlejuice, really.
Yeah,
it's about that. It's about that family of ghosts and how they're gonna get that weird family that's kind of pompous out of their house. Yeah, that's what the Beetlejuice is about. Same here with the Thing. It's about how the Thing is about how all of these people are gonna survive this one common enemy, but while searching throughout who is the common enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's almost like, I feel like I take it as the Thing itself is more so a metaphor for like how paranoia and how sort of distrust can destroy relationships, can destroy the world around us.
And I'm gonna say that I don't want to get political or anything, but the message in this movie really stands true to this, really ages well as well.
Yeah.
And so that's really what the movie is about. Just what you just said about trusting people and how distrust can, yeah. And it's just really just an added bonus that all of that this Thing is as practical, that with the practical effects, how good it actually is.
Exactly. Because the thing is that this movie came out in the 80s, so it came out at the height of like nuclear paranoia and Cold War, the threat of a nuclear war, and the distrust that was kind of felt between allies and things of that nature. Because in this movie, you got people from all different walks of life, people from all different sort of backgrounds that have kind of come together and have had no choice but to trust each other through this mission. Kind of similar to how certain countries have to come together to sort of trust each other to make the world better. But if you don't work together, everything is going to be threatened with destruction. And that's basically what this movie kind of like, that's its message. That's kind of what the point of it tries to hammer home, is that how distrust can really destroy a civilization, can make or break people.
Right. And putting your faith in the wrong people, putting your trust in the wrong people. Because there's many times out of this film where they trust Kurt Russell's character McCready, but as time goes on, they distrust him more. They don't even know how to
trust him. They don't even, the audience don't even know if they can trust McCready, because McCready's off screen for a little bit.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, because they leave him out in the snow. A lot of time, I expected it to be like McCready being the sleeper agent the whole time, because I've seen in other media, in other movies and other films and books and so on and so forth, that a lot of times the main character that you rooting for to win is actually the bad guy himself.
All along, yeah.
So it's we
won't give any spoiler as to what exactly happens, but just know it ends in a very ambiguous way.
Exactly. So it's like you could be thinking that it's McCready. It could be Childs, Keith David. It could be Dr. Blair, Clark, Knowles, Palmer. You don't know. Even looking at a synopsis on Wikipedia, it just says Thing after their name.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say who is the Thing. It just says Thing after their name.
And that's what I like about the movie. It's like
if they got possessed,
And that's what really is the creepiest thing about this movie, is like you just never quite know what this entity is. And you never know. Like, you don't know what it's truly capable of. You never get a full analysis or breakdown or study of its abilities. McCready does sort of like this blood test, and that's the closest we get to kind of understanding its biology, its makeup. Right. But other than that, there's no moment where they kind of capture it, running through tests or whatever to see what it's fully capable of. You just don't know what it is. In one scene it's making these strange noises. Another scene, it seems like it's like impervious to fire and stuff. You just don't know what this thing is, and that's what makes it truly scary.
And looking at synopsises, some more synopsises.
Synopsis side.
Synopsis so
hell if I know. Go ahead.
Part. Anyway, looking at so many other like plots and summaries about it, they say that fire is his only weakness. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like every time they would kill a part of it, I would think they would kill it. It keeps manifesting over and over again. Like it's like I don't even think this thing really truly has a weakness.
Facts. And every time you see it, it comes back different. Every single time.
And seemingly stronger too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It comes back with a new appearance. It comes back with a new ability. It just doesn't seem to slow in. It just doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing down.
And this could, and the thing is, see what I did there? The thing is, it could be a metaphor for like hatred and conflict overall.
Yeah.
Because hatred, conflict, static can manifest bigger, stronger, badder, and nothing can really take it, and nothing can really take it away for the most part. I mean, hatred can be overcome by love and so on and so forth. But I think that's what the thing is ultimately, just a metaphor for hatred and conflict overall and distrust.
Yeah, and how it can really like corrupt
like
us.
We keep saying. Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much all. I would highly recommend it.
I agree.
I definitely think this is a high heat. It's a classic.
Oh, it's extremely high. Is there anything bad you can say about it?
For me, honestly, I don't really have a negative thing about that. Maybe he could have did a better job of establishing who these people are, deepening sort of the relation. Because I feel like the thing about this movie is that we don't really see, because unlike most movies, especially nowadays, it doesn't get right to the horror and the action right away. It builds everything up. And I think that in that buildup, they could have used some more sort of like exploration of who these people are, because
more moments of intimacy.
Exactly, because you see them together, but you don't really see them expressing who they are for real. You don't really get a sense of who they really are as people.
The most you get from Knowles TK Carter is the fact that he likes to skate and cook.
That's literally it.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. If they had a more of a dynamic, like, and that's what keeps this from being a flawless victory for me. But this is extremely high heat. But if they had more of a dynamic like the crew did in the first Alien movie,
for sure,
then this definitely would have made me care about the characters a lot more than I did.
Facts.
Like, I really cared about more of the actors than the characters. You feel me?
Facts, exactly, because you care about these characters because they're actors that you recognize that are iconic, right. But outside of that, you don't necessarily have a reason to care about, say, McCready, other than the fact that McCready's just
the main character, yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
And Keith David because of his voice.
And because it's Keith David, so, you root for it just because they're recognizable names. But other than that, I would highly recommend it, especially for the Halloween season. It's getting colder outside. It kind of being set in the cold, it kind of gives sort of that claustrophobic sort of atmosphere, that sort of paranoia, that extreme bone-chilling intensity. So, hey, I would recommend this fully.
High key. Oh, extremely high key. But, shoot, sign us off, bro.
Hey, with that being said, this has been Rodney.
This has been Jay.
And we got more coming very, very soon. Stay tuned to the channel. More spooktacular videos coming very, 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 very soon.
Yes, sir. Everybody remember, please look at the details. Peace.